Hi, I'm Lori and I love books. And today I have the rest of the books I read between October and December of 2025. The first is a poetry book by Halsey. She's a singer, and it's called I Would Leave Me If I Could. It deals with a lot of adult issues like mental health, um, essay, and some other things. I thought it was very brave of them to write these things down, and I found it to be a very beautiful collection of poetry. And then the kitty's here too. I don't know if she'll show up. But the next book is Ghost Train, American Railroad Short Lesson. No, Ghost Lesson. Legends. Sorry. Um, and I gave this 4 stars. I might have been a little too generous with the 4 stars, but it does talk a lot about ghost sightings if you're on a train, as well as haunted trains and haunted stations. I I liked it. If I read it now, I might give it 3 stars, but it was a good book overall. The next one is Haunted Arizona, Ghosts of the Grand Canyon State, and this one I gave 2 stars for. It was very lacking. The other one was very detailed. This one, it just kind of briefly discussed the um, location, a little bit about the ghost. It was mostly tourist attractions, so I wasn't very fond of this one, but I did like the ghost train one and would like to read more about ghost trains. The next book was a reread for me. I read the story before, but not this edition, and that's The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde by Robert Louis Stevenson. And this is an illustrated copy. So there's pictures as well as like some kind of interesting writing where like, let me see if I can find one, where there's like pictures and then like scribbles. I liked the addition of the illustrations to the story. It is still a very great gothic tale. It definitely added suspense. I still really love this story, and I loved having the illustrations combined with the story. I felt it really added to the mystery, to the suspense, and if you just have seen the movies or the television editions of or takes on this book, I highly recommend reading the actual book because it is quite different than all the depictions I've ever seen. I'm not sure if they ever actually get it accurate. It's much more interesting how Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde appear in the book versus how he appears in movies and television. The next book I got because it was a gothic retelling of Mary Poppins called Feed the Birds by Dakota Wilde. And I was really excited about this book. It basically takes the story of Mary Poppins, combines it with Bloody Mary, and there's a lot of magic in this, but it also is a very adult book. There's a lot of adult intimacy. In fact, that's like over half the book. I'm not that type of person that likes reading that sort of thing. So I gave this 3 stars because it just wasn't a book for me, but I was glad I read it because I do want to read more takes on classics, to see how they're reimagined. And I'm not saying this was a bad one, it just wasn't for me. The next book is a art book. I found out about this artist on Instagram. His name is Sean Koss. And it's all in your head. And it's a book that depicts art of different mental illnesses. So this one is Dependent Personality Disorder. So it's very kind of interesting black and white illustrations. And it has a little bit about what inspired him to do the art. And this is actually a signed edition as well. And I really liked it. I was very pleasantly surprised that one of the things I've struggled with in my life was in here, because it is not really talked about much. So I really did like that. I have a second book by him that is A Gory Demise. And then this one kind of goes through the alphabet, and I gave both of these 4 stars. Sorry, the sun, I wanted you to be able to see, but it's also making it hard for me to see. So S is for Sarah, who, hurt herself with scissors. So it really is kind of an adult book, but I kind of liked it. It was interesting seeing the art. This is a used book I found that kind of went along with the same themes. Grimricks, written by Susan Pearson and illustrated by Chris Grimley. And these are little poems also about like witches and other kind of Halloween characters. So beware that you don't get too chummy with Martin McIver, the mummy. So there's a mummy one. Sorry, the kitty's also sitting in the sun because she's a kitty. This next one is another used book I found, and it's called The Little Rabbit Who Wanted Red Wings by Carolyn Sharon Bailey. And this is of a little rabbit who sees how everybody else is and kind of wishes he was like them. But then once he gets the red wings, nobody recognizes him, and then he regrets his wish. So it's a very cute book. This other one is a classic called Little Witch by Anna Elizabeth Bennett. This is the 60th edition. And this is, I gave it 3 stars. It wasn't bad, but it was interesting. Basically, the daughter of the witch wants to go to school, and the witch doesn't want her to go to school. She wants her to stay home and make potions for the witch to use. And so the witch's daughter decides to go to school anyways because she's a child. And basically a lot of things happen and discoveries happen. And she does make some friends. So it's a cute book. I'm glad I read it. I'm not entirely certain what would have made it a higher score, but I thought it was good to read like once. So 3 stars. This one I found at a used bookstore and got it because it was so pretty. And that's Tales of the Peculiar by Ransom Riggs. And this is part of the Miss Peregrine series. And so these are like little short stories that are in that world. And I've seen the movie, but I haven't read any of the books. And so this has made me want to read those books. So it was a really good copy, and it was also a really interesting read. And then now we're getting into the Christmas books I read. And I got 3 of these on Corduroy Bear, Grin and Bear It, The Wit and Wisdom of Corduroy, which is based on the characters created by Don Freeman. And this is just like a little book where it like has like a little saying, and then it's paired with an illustration. This one is Sometimes You Have to Baby Yourself, and it's Corduroy dressed as a baby. I gave this 4 stars. It was good, but it was also very short. And if it had been longer, I would have given it more. The next one is Merry Christmas, Corduroy, and A Christmas Wish for Corduroy. And these both are Corduroy experience in Christmas. I gave them both 5 stars. They were both very adorable. This A Christmas Wish for Corduroy. He's still in the department store wishing for someone to take him home. And then this is also how he gets his overalls. And then the Merry Christmas Corduroy is just kind of like taken from shows him doing different Christmas things like wrapping Christmas presents. Here's the kitty. Sorry, she kept distracting me. And making cookies and spending time with his person. And then the last book I read for 2025 is this big one, Alice in Wonderland, A Puzzle Adventure, by Alexandra Artimowska. Sorry, I did not say that very well. And this is like a look and find book. So, like, here's all these ladders. And there's a rabbit in each illustration. And Alice needs to find her way through the illustration. Here's this one with the, like a garden, see? So each page is something to like have a little read and then a little maze or look and find or find the differences. And this was a very fun book. I gave it 4 stars. And I'm definitely glad I added this to my collection. So those were the rest of the books I read for 2025. And then I have my next video will be on my book journal, which I have finished for 2025 too. Until next time, have a lovely time reading. Bye!